Hey, you're listening to Marketing Out Loud, a daily podcast where I share advice, stories, and insights to help you build a thriving consulting or professional services practice. To subscribe to the show, head over to marketingoutloud.fm. So this past weekend, I had a meeting with my accountability partner. We meet every so often, usually on a monthly basis, to review our progress towards our business goals. And so I shared with him in this meeting, this being our first meeting of 2019, my revenue goal for the year and the steps I'm taking now immediately to hit that goal, or to set ourselves up to hit that goal by the end of the year. And so we looked at it and we looked at the plan, and he said, well, look, let me ask you a question. Hypothetically, what if we double the goal? And I said, what do you mean? And he goes, well, look, let's have the conversation. Hypothetically, let's go through the intellectual exercise of asking, what if we doubled your goal? What would have to happen? What would have to change? What could you no longer do? And what changes would you need to make to your team and your processes and the way that you do business and the way you serve your clients if we doubled your goal? So after the initial shock of the question wore off and the discomfort that comes with that wore off, I said, okay, well, hypothetically, I'd have to start doing this. I'd have to change the way I do this. I'd have to spend more money on ads. I'd have to bring more people onto my team. I'd have to get these processes off of my plate. I'd have to restructure the way that we deliver on these things. And here's what that would have to look like. And then we both stepped back and we looked at it and we said, okay, well, is that doable? And almost grudgingly, I said, well, yeah, it's actually doable. And just like that, at least on paper, I doubled my revenue goal. And, I wouldn't minimize that either. That's a significant thing, because when you think about any kind of goal attainment, there's two steps to it. There's the intellectual exercise. There's the visualization of what it would look like to achieve that goal. And there's the planning and the mapping out the steps required to get there. And then there's obviously the execution, which is important. You're not going to get there unless you execute and you do the work. But that initial visualization exercise, that intellectual exercise of planning out the steps, it's really important, because if you don't do that, you're not going to know A, what's achievable, and B, what the steps look like to get there. And so just with that simple question of, what happens if we double your goal? What would that look like? That showed me that I was playing way too small and I was biting off way too little. And that actually, if I step back and remove the lid, remove the ceiling of what I think is possible within this year, and I really take a good hard look at what I can do to hit a higher goal, that it's actually very doable. In other words, the bigger goal, the double goal, was initially out of sight because I just, I could only see up until the goal that I thought made sense for me. I couldn't see beyond that. It didn't even occur to me that there was a goal beyond that. But when I removed those blinders and I looked at the bigger goal, what I found was that it actually is very possible. And now I'm mapping out a plan to actually get there. So the thing I want you to think about, and this is, by the time this goes out, we're late January, maybe early February, about a month has passed in 2019. And I want you to think about, where are you in regards to the goal that you set at the beginning of the year? Where are you relative to your revenue goal? And even if you're not on pace to hit that goal, I want you to think about what would have to happen if you doubled your goal. So let's say your goal is $500,000. What if it was $1 million? Or if it was $100,000? What if it was $200,000? Or if it was $1 million, what if it was $2 million? What would need to happen for you to hit that goal? What would need to change? Because chances are, if you're like me, you're doing things a certain way right now, and you set your goal based on just some incremental improvements in what's already happening, what's already going on. But if you step back and ask yourself, what happens if I double the goal? Then you're going to have to look at some more serious changes. So more serious fundamental changes to the way that you do business, which, yes, are scary. Granted, they're scary, but that might very well be a viable path if you take a good hard look at it. And if that's a viable path, then you really have no business sticking with your smaller goal. You need to be leveling up and pursuing that higher goal. So I hope that makes sense, and I hope that helps. I'm curious to hear how this exercise goes for you. Try it out. Let me know what you find. Shoot me an email, Ahmad, AHMAD @boutiquegrowth.com, and let me know. Thanks. Hey, thanks for listening. Do me a favor. If you like what you hear, go on iTunes and leave us a rating and a review because it helps more people discover the show. Thanks so much.